Hello, everybody. My guest today is Ravi Sayu. He is the founder and CEO of a company called Strayos. Before founding the company, he spent more than 12 years working globally with Fortune 500 companies like AT&T, Verizon, British Telecom, and various other roles, from product management to building teams for large digital projects. His area of expertise in artificial intelligence and data analytics drove him to launch Strayos, which is essentially a tool that helps with 3D visual intelligence, platforming and mapping using AI and drones to reduce cost and improve efficiency in mining job sites. Ravi, are you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely.
Okay.
To the top.
So Strayos, is it a SaaS company? Is that how you bill?
Yes.
Okay.
Enterprise software as a service company.
And you sell directly to the mining operators or the sites?
Well, we sell directly to the mining operators or anybody who is servicing in the mine. So either a drilling OEMs or somebody who is doing the blasting in the mining sites.
Interesting. Okay. And on average, what do they pay per year for this tech?
It's a $50,000 system per year.
Okay. That's a good
that's
average.
That's a starting point. Yeah.
Well, okay. So that's the starting point. What's the average, would you say, across your customer base?
Average, if usually in this type of workflows, we have to have 4 or 5 stakeholders: drillers, blasters, quarry manager, and someone who is doing the compliance. So at least typical system looks like 5 or 6 subscriptions. So that's a average starting point. But if they have about 40 or 50 people working in the same mining site, everybody needs to sign up.
Okay, so help make that clear for me. The average customers may be paying, are you saying $250,000 per year?
No, average customer, one license costs about $1,000. So 5 stakeholders, they'll be paying $5,000
per year
per month. And then, usually it costs, $50,000 to $60,000 as a starting point.
Okay. So base $50,000 plus additional user licenses of, call it, $50,000 to $60,000 on top of that. So about $100,000 is a fair average.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Tell us more of your story here. When did you launch the company? What year?
So we launched the company back in 2016, about mid 2016. At that point of time, we had just an initial prototype that didn't do anything for the users. And we launched the actual product, the first version, in July 2017.
And who's we? How many team members?
So we started with, just initial team members with one of my partner who comes from the mining and blasting industry. So we were, 2 or 3 team members were there. And then later we expanded the team late.
So how many today?
20, we onboarded, key executive team members, and then also, a couple of machine learning candidates.
So Ravi, how many today total?
We are 11 team members.
11. That's great.
Yeah.
And then fast forward over the past 2 years, how many customers have you signed up?
So we have about 40 enterprise customers at the moment.
40?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. I mean, can I kind of back into revenue then? 40 customers paying an average ACV of $100,000 means you're doing about $300,000, $400,000 a month right now. Is that about right?
And not necessarily, because everybody's ticket size is different. So we're roughly in about, and not everybody is kind of at the paying moment, because the sales cycles are very long to get to the contractual part, which is basically, it's usually 6 months. So some are still kind of in billing mode. But we have about paying customers.
How many?
22.
22. Okay. So can I take same math? 22 times that ACV, you're doing about $180,000 a month.
Yeah.
And where were you a year ago in terms of a monthly recurring revenue in November 2017?
We were 0.
Oh, you were pre-revenue at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. How did you sign up 22 people so fast at those contract values?
So mostly we sell through distributors. So we have distributors who have existing relationships in these mining organizations, or through their network, dealer network, those who are already present in the sites. So most of the selling that happens is through the distributor network, and then we take on to the direct, customer success as well as onboarding part, and then taking them into our entire product journey.
And have you raised capital, or are you guys bootstrapped?
We raised pre-seed round back in 2017.
So how much total have you raised today?
Yeah, it's about $650K.
$650,000. And that was a convertible note or equity or debt or what?
Convertible note.
Oh, great. Very good. Well, congrats there. Talk to me about stickiness. Have you lost any customers?
Yeah, it's too early to say, but we have not lost any customer yet. And the reason is because, like I mentioned, the longer the sales cycle is, it takes a lot of time to get them comfortable, and the more they invest in the on the time period where they're constantly using it. So they are not only testing the product, but also, they're getting the accurate data from it.
Yeah.
So the timing is the key part. So we've not lost a customer yet, except just one churn we have is mostly because, in their side, they were not allowed to use drones because it was very close to the FAA compliance or, airport area.
Sure.
So that's the only one churn that we have. But other than that,
got it. Are you spending any money on sales and marketing?
It's mostly on the field sales side. We no money on the marketing. We did some content marketing.
How many people on the field sales team?
Just one at the moment.
Okay, so one person has closed all 22 accounts.
No, it's kind of, we recently onboarded him. So all 22 accounts, it's a combination of through the distributors as well as, me going and meeting them personally, the field sales guy we recently hired.
So what kickback do you pay the distributors if they bring you a customer?
Usually it's 20% commission.
Okay, got it. So yours basically, your customer acquisition cost is 20% of first year ACV.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so $100,000 account, you'd spend about $20,000 to acquire that customer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay, and only in year one, or do you keep paying the distributor every single year?
The renewals are 5%.
Oh, that's smart.
So they're not spending money on they are not spending any time in kind of keeping that relation there. Usually then falls back to us.
Yeah, no, that's smart. And where's the team based?
So we're in St. Louis, and also we have team members, the development team in India as well.
That's
India
great.
and Bangalore.
St. Louis and India. And then we didn't spend a ton of time on the tech. So tell me how this actually works. A drone flies over the job site and maps all the tunnels underground. I mean, what's the value there? What do they do?
Yeah. So we are not doing anything underground yet. So typically in the mining or any aggregate or quarry industry, if you see, you need to build highways, you need to build roads, and the first thing you need is materials, right? And when we think about mining, we usually think about, metals or any other, precious metals, in the mine. But this is an activity that happens on a daily basis, which is drilling and blasting. So you drill holes and you blast material, and you're basically, generating material, rocks. But the current process which they used is very tedious and unsafe. So you're using a laser scanner, putting in different areas, and walking around the high walls and the cliffs. So what we are replacing that with is with drones, low-cost drones, as well as the drone flies in 10 minutes, captures the data, and we have an automated processing engine which turns them into 3D models. So now we are generating a report about the geometry of the terrain and the geotechnical attributes. So now they can make accurate decisions about where to drill holes, how deeper it needs to be, what's the diameter should be, and then how much amount of explosives is required to blast it, so that the accurate energy distribution would be there and the accurate size of rock will come out. That has a downstream effect about the supply chain of transportation of those materials, because if you have an accurate balanced size rock, you're not spending more money on breaking those rocks into a crushing plant. And that's how it gets distributed to any other job site of your, if you're building highways or if you're building, houses, you need those material.
Interesting. Are you planning right now on raising any additional capital?
But here, a computer vision and machine learning platform, which basically gives them the ability to make accurate drilling and blasting design decisions.
So, Ravi, are you planning right now on raising any additional capital?
Yes. So we are looking for kind of really mostly on growing the customer base. So that's where kind of focusing more on the growth side. So yes, we will be raising an additional capital.
How much do you hope to raise?
Roughly around 1.5 million. So that's another post-seed round, but mostly focused on the growth side.
And if you raise 1.5 million, what are you targeting in terms of a pre-money valuation?
So that's number kind of is still we have not come to the conclusion yet.
What would make you happy?
that's right now. Depending upon the revenue numbers that we are trying to hit, we will be looking into $7 to $8 million valuation. And then once we hit some more revenue numbers, it will be in the range of 10 to 12.
Yeah. Have you ever looked, I mean, obviously it sounds like you want to go raise equity capital, but you take dilution on that. Have you ever looked at using like venture debt to fund some of the growth so you don't get diluted?
We have not. We have not looked at the venture debt as a model yet, especially because we don't have really good understanding about and the part that we are looking is some strategic fit. So someone coming from this industry and where we can expand the business more focused way.
Yeah. Would you raise venture debt if you liked the terms and understood how it worked and didn't have to take dilution?
We might consider, but I think at this stage of the business, it's mostly about accelerating the growth, and we don't see venture debt as a tool for us to propel the growth.
Is that because you don't know how to spend money to make more money?
It's mostly about we are looking for an investor, not just coming from the money perspective, but also a network, as well as if you're raising money from somebody from the heavy industries or the OEM focused investors. That will propel our growth 10 times. Then venture debt is just the money for us, and how do we manage that effectively?
Yeah.
So that's
very good.
Kind of yeah.
All right, let's wrap up with the famous 5 one-word answers if you can. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
So I recently read a book called The Autobiography of Paramahansa. It's not a business autobiography of a yogi.
Got it. Very good.
It's not a business book, but I learned a lot of business I digested like a lot of business elements from there.
Good. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
CEO again, right now, one of the CEO that I use, it's Slack CEO. So he...
Stuart Butterfield?
Stuart Butterfield.
Great.
Yep.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company?
Favorite online tool. So we use Zoom a lot.
Okay, that's a good one. Zoom. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
So usually I get about 6 hours. I'm trying to increase it more. I have a young baby as well.
So 1 kid, and are you married?
Yes.
And how old are you?
I just turned 34.
34. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I think take it a little bit slow. Mostly because once you are in 20s, your mind kind of races into a different direction, and you don't know what. So it's kind of taking it like a little bit slow about what's the future you want to build and what's the impact you want to have, rather than just kind of jumping into it.
Guys, take it slow. From Strayos, they sell, again, drone AI technology to drilling OEMs, folks in the blasting industry, anything related to mines. They've got 22 customers today paying about $100,000 ACV, so doing about $180,000 per month right now. They were pre-revenue a year ago, so healthy growth quickly. They've been efficient with the capital they've raised. $650,000 is what they've raised so far. Too early to talk about churn and things like that. However, they are spending about $20,000 to get that $100,000 ACV account, and that's a kickback to a distributor who's driving a bunch of their sales. They've got about 11 people right now based in St. Louis and India. And again, founded in 2016, looking for hopefully a strategic investor soon, where they want to hope to raise $1.5 million on maybe a 8 or 9 million pre-money valuations. Ravi, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you, Nathan.